It's time for an important mortgage rate update and market update because there's two things happening that really shouldn't happen at the same time, but we're seeing it anyway. So we're going to cover what's going on with mortgage rates, which is kind of everyone's question. When are mortgage rates going to go down? And we're also going to look at what's happening with the housing market because home prices, spoiler alert, they're going up. So let's take a look at it. Now, where I want to start off today is I'll tell you my experience as a mortgage advisor. I help people every single day buy homes. That's all I do. That's my job. My job is to help people buy homes and refinance. And I want to make sure they do that with the most information so they can make the most educated decisions possible. So what I'm seeing is multiple offers on every single house. It doesn't mean we can't still use tactics to get lower monthly payments by doing rate buy downs and getting seller credits to cover closing costs to reduce out-of-pocket expenses. I'm still doing that, but we are having to be more strategic about it because the seller has something that everybody wants. And if everybody wants it, we have to fight for it. I love fighting. It's part of my favorite, one of my favorite things about my job is helping people win homes over other people. So we had one property that had 30 offers. I actually had two that had 30 offers this week. And then we had another one where they were able to get a 3-2-1 buy down. So the seller is crediting them money to get their interest rate reduced 3% the first year, 2% the second year, and 1% the third year. Still a 30-year fixed mortgage, but the seller's making up the interest difference for those 3 years. So that dramatically reduces their monthly costs. And then I have another client who we were able to negotiate a credit of about $15,000, which offsets their cash out of pocket. They're going to keep $15,000 in pocket because the seller is covering all of their closing costs. All of that happened with multiple offers. I like to be the fastest loans in the West. My job is to close quickly. I want your offer to look as good as cash. That way we can beat other people. So as an example, if you offer $500,000 for a home and somebody else offers $500,000 for a home and they say they'll close in 30 days and you say you'll close in 2 weeks, which offer is the seller going to want? They're going to take the 2-week offer because they want their money fastest. That's what we do. So the reason I bring that up is a lot of people are still trying to get deals on houses. And while there are certain homes that you will be able to kind of get a deal on, those are the homes that everybody else doesn't want. That's why you're able to get a deal. So if you want something that no one else wants, you'll be able to get it for a lower price. That's just how supply and demand works. But we are already seeing prices increasing with current interest rates. Now that brings me to the interest rate conversation. Interest rates, and we'll take a deep dive and look at this in detail, but interest rates have effectively been the same since November 10th. We have been pretty much bouncing within 1/4 to 0.3% in rate since November 10th, and that is considered very stable. Take a look at this. Okay, so what we're looking at is mortgage-backed securities trading. Mortgage bonds are really what control interest rates. When everyone says mortgage rates change daily, it's not the rate that changes daily, it's the cost for that interest rate that changes daily. For example, a rate of 6% today could have 0 points, no points. And then tomorrow, if the market does worse, if mortgage bonds are doing worse, then you might see 6% have a $1,000 cost. The day after that, if they're worse, even worse, now it's a $3,000 cost. All of a sudden, the mortgage bonds do better. Now 6% has a credit, a lender credit of $1,000. It's not the rate that's changing because there's multiple rates available every single day. It's not the rate that's changing, it's the cost or credit for that interest rate as the market moves. So what we're looking at here is the last 3 months of mortgage bonds trading. And what I always look for is patterns. And what I can clearly see is I can draw a line right across it here. And then if we look at here, we kind of see a floor, right? And by the way, when we look at this, when this goes up, when mortgage-backed securities go up, that means rates are improving. When mortgage bonds go down, it means rates are getting worse. But what you can see in the last 3 months is we've basically been trading in a pretty stable range. Now, May 10th was supposed to be a really good day for interest rates. That's when the CPI or the inflation report came out. And we were expecting the mortgage bonds to do really well because it was supposed to look like inflation improved year over year. In May, April's inflation, CPI, is reported. Well, if you think about what inflation was doing in April of last year, it was really skyrocketing, right? That's when inflation was really starting to go up and up and up. And if you think of what's happened with inflation lately, it's been mellow. So what we thought was going to happen is there would be a pretty big gap between what inflation was in April of 22 to what inflation is in April of 23. Well, they changed the way the data looked last Friday. So a week ago today, I'm sorry, it happened over the weekend. Over the weekend, they said, you know what? We're going to look at this data different. And the way they changed it made it a narrower gap. So we didn't see the improvement that we were hoping for in May. Now, rates will go down. Mortgage rates are going to go down this summer. What we were expecting to have happen today is just going to be delayed because truth of the matter is the data is the data. You can't hide it forever. Now, as I say that, if you're saying, oh my gosh, rates are going to go down this summer, let's just wait till the summer. That's what you don't want to do because you want to buy a home. If you can afford a home today, by the way, let me back up. If the right house shows up, you should buy that house because it's the right house for you. But if the right house doesn't show up, then don't buy it. Just wait until the right home for your needs comes up. That's what matters, right? It doesn't matter what anyone else is doing. It doesn't matter what the national forecasts are. All that matters is what's important to you when you're considering buying a house. Because when we're buying a house, it's not a stock. We're not buying a piece of every house in America. We're buying this house in this city, in this neighborhood, this one house. I don't own a piece of every house in America. I own this one house. So me being in California, I don't care what the market is doing in Nebraska. It has no impact on what I'm doing here. Keep that in mind as you look at national data. So all that being said, the reason I want you to really focus on if you can afford the house today with current interest rates and you like the house and you're going to be in it long term, it feels comfortable, get excited about it, buy that house. Because if you say, you know what, Sean said rates are going to go down this summer, let's just wait till July. When rates go down, we'll buy the house. You're going to have more competition. As rates come down, homes become more affordable, and you're going to have more people fighting over very limited inventory. So you're better off, if the right house shows up, buying it today, then when rates go down, refinance, improve your monthly costs, let everyone else fight over the homes at that point and drive your value up. So that's really what's important. Now let's get back to the interest rate chart. So as I said, we have rates bouncing in a very narrow range here. I mean, we were at 100.25 up to about 101.35. So 100 basis points effectively equates to about a 3/8 in rate change. That's all we're really seeing. Now I'm going to go back a little further so I can show you what's happened since November 10th. That's when rates really improved. So what I've been following since that date, and here it is, this is what we were hoping would happen today. We'd get a really big spike due to inflation. That's exactly what happened on November 10th. We were hoping for it on May 10th, but again, they skewed the data and it didn't work. But look at how narrow the trading range was. So I can draw a line across from here. I can draw a line across from here, which is basically where we're peaking out at this point. And it was narrow then, but it's even narrower now. So rates have gotten really, really stable. And what that means is people have gotten used to what current interest rates are. So the good news here is we've kind of peaked out. We're seeing interest rates at what we think are going to be the highest levels, and we're going to start to come down. So people are going, you know what, I'm used to hearing a high 5, low 6. Some people are hearing 7s. Asterisk, this is not a guarantee to lend. I'm not giving you an interest rate quote. There's tons of variables that build into interest rates. I can help you with that later. You can click the link below if you want to schedule a consultation. I'll give you a personalized buyer's guide to show you exactly what your home financing situation would look like, and it's no cost. It doesn't cost you anything. Again, I want to make sure you make the most educated decisions. So as we're looking at interest rates, we've been very stable for a very long time, basically bouncing with no more than 0.5% since November 10th. We are going to see rates go down. And as rates go down, you're going to see more people jump into the market because they're hearing what they want to hear. Rates have lowered, rates have lowered, rates are lowered. There are so many people who say, I'm going to wait until rates go down to buy a house. Well, there's no inventory. And the reason there are no homes for sale is there are so many people sitting on interest rates in the 2s and 3s that you're not going to see people selling because they can't afford to buy the next house because they have a rate of 2 or 3. They'd actually be better off renting it since rent has skyrocketed. So what does that mean? It means you're going to have limited inventory on homes. There's not enough inventory, homes for sale, for all the people that want to buy them. When you have multiple people competing for one house, the price will go up. So we are going to see home prices increase. There's just no way around it. We have the lowest inventory homes for sale that we have had in 25 years. And from 2014 to today, it has been lower and lower and lower every single year. And that's because people are holding on to real estate. It's the best. I was going to say it's a great long-term investment. It is the best long-term investment because inflation, right? A dollar will always be worth less in the future. My grandparents bought a candy bar. It cost a nickel. Today, a candy bar costs $2. Candy bar is a candy bar. It didn't change, right? It just, the dollar has been devalued. So inflation is one of the biggest drivers of home appreciation over time because your mortgage payment is protected from inflation. So there's so many factors that build into this, and I want to make sure that we cover these details because it's really important that you understand this as you think about, is this the right time to buy? I'll tell you the answer to that question. Is this the right time to buy? If it's the right house and you can afford it, yes, it's the right time to buy. That's all there is to it. We bought our house in 2021. Everyone says, oh my gosh, Sean, you bought at the top of the market. Doesn't matter. I have an interest rate of 2.625%. I'll have this house probably forever. I've got a 5-year-old. I'll be there at least 13 more years. Think of what the value will be in 13 years. Think of what rent will be in 13 years. And every month I'm lowering what I owe on that property, adding more equity while inflation and supply and demand drive up the value. So it's hard to lose on real estate long term. Now, conversely, okay, Sean, you got a rate of 2.5%. We can't get that today. Correct. But if you can afford the house today when other people can't, you're getting it at a lower price, knowing that when rates come down, everyone else is going to be fighting over those homes. So I know this is a lot of information at once, but again, I want you to really critically think about these things. We get very emotional when it comes to home buying. We have so much noise on the internet telling us the market's going to crash. It's going to be 2008. I lived through 2008. I've been doing this 22 years. 2008 is not coming. It was an entirely different game, and I have a different video about that is right here. So check that out if you want to learn more about 08. But let me know how I can help. I'm a mortgage advisor. I help people buy homes throughout the country, and I want to make sure you make the most educated decision. Whether you decide to buy or not, I want you to do it based on good information and data, not some random opinion. So thank you all so much. I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.